welcome to your first day of Six Figure Systems. I was like, my brain is in like a million places right now, but I'm so excited to have you all here. I know this is going to be 6 months that you will remember for a very long time in your life. So, within that being said, typically the way that I start a call is going to be you all going into your separate browsers. This is a very active mastermind. So, you're going to be filling out your progress tracking forms. And the way that looks for you guys is you should see the setup systems, a lovely little topic, and I'll show you what this looks like for you. In here, it'll say the essentials, additional systems, and then progress tracking. Oh, amazing. Just here. So within your progress tracking, if you click in there, there is a link that is just for you. And so what I would love for you to do is click on your link. And I think that I was like, Jess, I sent you the link to join the classroom. So I'm super excited to have you. When you click into there, we're going to get you going and you can join the class through here. And if unfortunately, like, even though it is a Gmail account, the only accounts that can be added are the funky at gmail.com. So that is what we're doing today. Jess, I'm going to add you to the classroom and go ahead and fill out your form for the first 10 minutes. And I'm going to share this with you. First couple of calls, it will be a bit of admin at the beginning. Are there any questions about where to find the form? Jess, you should be getting an email. Awesome. Great. And then I think everyone should just be seeing, okay, their form, which is exciting. Usually I put on music, so I'm going to put on some tunes, get us going, and you might not be able to hear it. And if you can't hear it, that's totally fine. But if you can hear it, it's really fun. Okay. I will stop sharing my screen, Tammy, and see if it came through. And this is fun because these are your baseline numbers. So everything that you fill out with your marketing, how you're feeling, all that's the baseline. And all these numbers are going to keep growing up.
Can you show me where to find the form? I'm in the classroom, but I don't see where.
Of course, underneath the tab classwork, sorry.
Okay.
If you scroll down past the setup systems, essentials, and additional systems, you'll see a form just for you. So it should say Jess.
Got it. Thank you.
Of course. Let me like refresh my screen. We will reconvene at 1:03. So or 1:13. So I'm just gonna start a little timer. And usually I take a picture at the beginning of the calls, but you guys didn't have that like prep. So I was like, we can wait until next week to take a picture. Take another, let's say 7-ish minutes. Perfect. And there's a little timer up there for you. I love Electric Light Orchestra. I hope you guys can hear the music. I was like, no, I was like, well, feel free to put on your own soundtrack. We're listening to Mr. Blue Sky. And we just listened to Ain't No Mountain High Enough. So I think it's the new mic. You can't hear it, which is fun. Yes, Tammy, you filled out the right form. Perfect. And if you are done filling out the form, just like give me a thumbs up because I can't see it all right away. So Tammy, I know you're done. And once you get in the swing of things, the money might be the only piece that's like kind of hard to determine. But the rest should be pretty self-explanatory. Let me see, Sharon. Yes, perfect. Got it. Every form has a separate spreadsheet, and I did not have time to check all of them today. So I was like, whoops. But I will check them in the future. Remembered I forgot to put my earrings back on. We're gonna be looking fancy. And if everyone finishes their forms, we might get started sooner rather than in 4 minutes. But take your time. Okay, awesome. Jess, I'm just double checking. Love it. Double checking now. I love it. Okay. I think everyone's done like 2 whole minutes early. Amazing. So,
Megan, can I
yes.
just say, on my link, I've got Jess's as well. You might want to take that off.
Yes, Jess just joined the classroom.
No,
So,
but I've only got a niece, but then I've got also Jess, and I wouldn't want to feel that I can see Jess.
fill out the wrong form. Yep.
You.
If you refresh your screen, you should not see Jess anymore as of 10 seconds ago. Amazing. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to put a little chapstick because I'm going to talk a lot today. Most calls will not be me talking this much. But I am just so thrilled that you guys all decided to join Six Figure Systems this round of the mastermind. This, from everyone who has been in past rounds, has been an extremely transformative time for everybody's businesses. There is so much that you're going to learn. So take everything in stride. You get to ask all of your questions along the way. And I'm going to be here to support you all the way through May. So we are here, ready to roll 26 fun-filled weeks. It's going to be awesome. So I've already started recording. Everyone that is in this room, first off, we're going to become very, very close. And one of the things that I think is really important, we're going to be sharing a lot of like deep personal stuff. It's going to be great. And we just want to we're going to become like a little family. So just keep in mind that we want to keep every conversation that's in this room to this room. It's in the contract, but just make sure it's personal, anonymous. We don't want anybody like sharing anything outside the room. No one has ever done that, but just so you guys know and set the precedent that this is your safe space to come to. When you are feeling great, we will celebrate. When you are feeling any less than great, we're here to support you, which is super fun. And I am just so glad you all are here, especially because I've updated some things for this round. So within Six Figure Systems, the first kind of phase of this is where we are going to really be refining and setting up your whole foundation for the next 6 months. This is what's going to happen in the first 4 weeks. You guys are going to learn about how to craft a high value offer today and a little bit of mindset work. You're going to learn next week, and at 3 o'clock, a module is getting released about marketing. On the following week, you're going to learn how to sell. Then, like with a blueprint, which is fun. Then we're going to have a whole week dedicated to managing and generating more leads and people to book those consults with. And then we're going to talk about how to plan strategically like a CEO. So this whole first month is packed with information. But as soon as we get done with these 4 weeks, aka January, you guys are good to go. And you are good to go right now. That's the fun thing about this. But it's just going to keep getting better every single week. Everything that you're already doing, it's going to enhance every single one of your businesses. And the cool thing is, we're all coaches this round. Usually there's like a graphic designer or a website creator or somebody else, but everyone in this round is a coach, which is fun. So we can I'm going to customize this round for all of you and really hone the conversations into coaching. Now, within the next phase, what's going to happen is you're going to create routines and you're going to simplify the systems. So once you get the system, what's going to happen is it takes a little bit to catch up on a learning curve, especially things like learning how to batch content monthly. It takes a little bit to get a hold of that. But by this next month, you're going to be getting into a routine. You're going to be figuring out, okay, this is what I do every day. These are the things that are going to drive my business revenue and simplicity forward. And so we're going to really be focusing on just refining those methods even more. The third piece is where we're going to be taking your business to an application phase. And within phase 2 and 3, you're going to be learning additional systems. So it's as the reason why this is the third stage is you're going to apply the original 4 systems, the 4 things that take you to 6 figures, along with learning a bunch of other things that are just helpful, like projections and other things that I think are helpful, not necessary to scale. So that will be from February to March-ish, where we're going to be just kind of getting everything kind of in order. You're going to still be learning a couple of things and then applying it. And then the last piece of the mastermind from April till June, till we finish the mastermind, is going to be taking everything that you've learned. We've been applying it in routines, and then we can take things out, we can move things, and I call it adopt, adapt, abandon. So there are going to be things I teach you that you take on right away and you're like, yes, perfect, I love this. There are going to be things that we need to adapt and change. Like if you want to change the way that you do the marketing calendar and things like that, we can adapt it. And then anything that you're okay, this is just, we need to come up with a completely new system for, bring it to the call and we can abandon it and switch it for you and your business, because that's what this is for. And keep going strong. So first things first, like this is just kind of like housewarming or household, getting a lay of the land. You guys know what I'm talking about. We're creating
Housekeeping.
housekeeping. There we go. So we're going to be getting organized. This is like the housekeeping message, but we're going to be using Google Classroom and Google Drive throughout the program. And also Google Calendar is what I recommend, not necessarily a needed thing. And because you guys are all in the classroom, that's great. That's like the first step. Unfortunately, like I think I told Missy in the stream already, unfortunately, any like if you're like if I was Megan Wing Coaching at meganwingcoaching@gmail.com, Google Classroom hates that. Don't know why. But today we're going to talk about how to organize things so that if you have a separate business email that isn't allowed in the classroom for some reason, how you can still access everything from your business email if you had to use a personal one. I think Missy, you might be the only one, but if anyone else had that issue, we're going to problem solve it today. Now, within the classroom, this is what's different for this round is, oh, this is the old one. Hold, please. I was like, I need to update that bad boy. Your classroom will not look like this. I redid all the modules literally like a week ago. And here we are. Don't get overwhelmed. I was like, I'm going to show you what it looks like now. These are the updated essentials. I'm fixing it up. But within the program, you're going to get a lot of lovely folders that look just like this. So, welcome updated. Need to add this. But it looks like this within your Google Classroom. So essentially what I did with the program is previously, just so you guys know, the delivery system and webinar system were a part of the essentials. And then I realized like you really didn't necessarily need those modules to scale, especially for people who weren't coaches. They didn't need to necessarily like if you are an interior designer, doing a webinar might not be a great thing for you. And if you're someone like a realtor, you didn't need to know how to deliver to your clients consistently over a certain period of time, because they do one and done kind of. So I moved those to the additional systems, but they're still coming up in week 6 and 7. So you can see here the exact flow, the dates of everything. So we're going to start with marketing. Like I mentioned, we're starting here. So that's where we are. And then we're going to get into marketing next week. This module will be released at 3 p.m. today. Selling will be the following week. Managing leads will be the week after. Planning will be the week after. And this is for those of you, if you want to look ahead, this is kind of how it's going to look, but you will not see any of these until 3 o'clock the week prior. Now, the thing that I realized is like I have paid an exorbitant amount of money for coaching programs, which I love and I cherish. And I realized that like creating additional time outside of the coaching calls was just not working with my schedule, whether it be my ADHD or like my time management. It's like creating extra time outside of the calls is not what I needed you, what I wanted to design this for. I designed this for people who want to get everything on the call. I want you to ask your questions live. I do not want you to and for those of you who want to jump ahead, I also have that there too. So it's like all these modules will be released the week prior. So like you saw that the setup systems were released before you came in today. So you could watch these ahead of time. At 3 o'clock today, the marketing systems will come up, but I'm not going to go over it till next Tuesday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Because everyone's in different time zones and continents, which is cool. We've got like, this is an intercontinental mastermind, which is awesome. I think last round was too, which is fun. So if you guys want to see the flow, this is what it's going to look like after we get into the basics and the essentials. What we're going to do then is we're going to go over how to deliver to your clients, especially because you guys are all coaches. I'm going to teach you about how to deliver to your clients at a high level. We're going to talk about how to do webinars. So this will be mid-January before we hit webinars. And if you wanted to do a webinar to start the year, that's why I was like, this is perfect timing for you guys. you can kick off the year with a webinar. Then we're going to get into some finances, which is very helpful before taxes. So this will again be just up until February is probably when we'll do projections. And then in March or in February, like this is like December, January, February, we're going to talk about planning, which is again aptly timed because we're going to talk about like how to create a long-term plan vision, something shorter for like 2024, how to keep track of all this additional stuff because that's important in the monthly checklist and evaluation system. And then we're going to get into some mindset stuff towards the end. Along with that, I really wanted to make this like, I know that many of you guys are involved in other certain programs, which is phenomenal. And I didn't want you to have to utilize like I wanted to give you everything I possibly could for the 5K that you have spent. So I also so all the additional systems I will be going through with you just like this. Like it's going to be like all the way up until March. You guys are going to have me teaching for the first hour and then coaching for the second hour of our calls. However, there were things that I was like, they could just use some help with, like QuickBooks, how to do a tax deduction. Again, you're going to get this in March, right before taxes. So it's like perfect. How to make a Google business account, how to use a Linktree, how to make a Facebook group, just like random stuff that I was like, oh, this would be helpful. I'm about to do another one about how to do a profit and loss statement. If you don't know what that is, that'll be coming probably like March 1st or something like that. And what I designed this program for is to hold your hand with you up until week 14. After that 15th week, on that 14th week, all of these will be released because I didn't feel like you guys needed, like I wanted to, at that point, like halfway through the program, we need to be focusing more on the application phase of things. So when I have my finance, like if you want to hear how my account explains finances, if you want to make a website, if you want to learn ChatGPT, if you want to like have this networking training, all of that will also be released. But it's not something that is like necessarily like I want you to leave having this system in your Google Drive. It's more so like bonuses and just like fun, helpful things. But again, like I was like, what can I give them to make their life so much easier? And you get this for life. And like the website one for me, that was something that I paid $3K for already. So it's like that is all coming, but I want you to focus on the things that are actually going to make you money. Website isn't necessarily something that will make you money right away, and it's going to be awesome. Yes, so she teaches you how to do every landing page. She teaches you how, like, what words to say. Literally within this module, you are going to see my website. You can I just did this on yesterday was Monday. Oh my God, it feels like a week since then. But literally on Monday, I did this with a client, and in an hour, we made her all the text for her website. Like just literally copying and pasting what I had and changing it to your words. So I want you guys to have that too. And that's what you're going to be getting. That's why I was like thinking about this program, and I like just want you to feel like you're getting every single thing you possibly can out of it. And I really do think that you will. I think that this program is pretty cool. So toot my own horn. But within the program, you're going to have each of the modules. So each one of these jazzy things breaks apart into a plethora of other things. So these are what's called the material for the class. And then each one of them, if you click on it, it'll show you a bunch of other stuff. The way that it's laid out, and this is the only week because again, there's like, I have to explain stuff to you. This is the only week where there is going to be 3 different things. For the marketing week, we're going to have 2 different slideshows to go through. Oh my gosh. Wait, where is Missy? Literally, this happened on our whole consult, and I have no idea why. Did you see the balloons? I was like, this happened our whole consult, and I have no idea why. So if anyone knows how to turn that off,
Fun bonus.
I'm like, what is happening? I'm like, I don't know how to turn it off, but if balloons just start showing up, I will Google that later. But that's fun. Oh, what a day. But within this program, you are going to typically not have this much stuff. But there are gonna be times when there's a lot of information, but the majority of the information, the important stuff that you want from this program, you will get before January. All of it. And then the other stuff will come later. Now, you'll see something that says like video, slides, thought work template. Do you see how these are like different things? So there's the welcome, mindset, and thought work offer program pillar. And I will change the slideshow that is in your Google Drive to be this slideshow because it looks just slightly different. Because again, like I mentioned, the delivery and the planning, or the delivery and the presentations that was on the last one. That's the only difference with this round. But there's going to be templates and examples. So within the call, I also, at the first 2 rounds, I didn't do this, but I realized that like people were getting to the end of the program and they were like, I was listening to you, but I didn't actually get all the systems in my drive. And I was like, well, that's a problem. We're just not going to do that in future rounds. So for this past round and for you guys, I'm going to explain each PowerPoint slide. And when there is a template to be customized for your business, you are going to go with me and we are going to make sure that every single template that is in this program will be in your Google Drive. And if you have to rewatch and pause later, feel free to do that. A lot of other people, like, they might be caring for children when they're doing this or things like that. And with the holidays coming up, if you ever have to miss, every single call is recorded and you're going to get access to that in the Google Classroom after it has a chance to download into my computer and upload. So that is kind of the flow. Each module looks similar to that. And what I'll show you with the templates, I'm literally going to do this with you. But if you're ever doing this on your own, you can always refer back to this welcome module because it'll teach you. It's like, okay, when you click on the word template for anything that says template, it'll say, would you like to make a copy of the template? And you will say yes. And then it will make a copy, and then it will make a copy of your document. You're going to save it into your Google Drive, and we're going to make a folder for 6-figure systems after I go over thought work. So all of those things we're going to do together every single week. However, if you want to jump ahead and kind of see how it looks, this is what, by the time you're done with this program, you are going to have a Google Drive that looks like this. With each module is going to get a separate folder. And then I included, so it's like the red is today. Orange are the essentials, marketing, selling, lead gen, planning. The additional systems are delivery, webinars, financial tracking, projections, long-term, all these yellow ones. And then for bonuses and guest speakers, these are optional, but if you want to take notes, this is a place for it. And then if you want a place for your notes, or if you would like to have a place where you save the information for your progress form, that will be here as well. I'm so excited to watch you grow. Each of these has like something motivational at the end because I know it's a lot of information to take in, but I am really excited for all of you. Are there any questions about the housekeeping that I have discussed, as I now know the word for it? And it's funky. I don't know how to move the chat over to here. Yes, lifetime access to recorded calls too. Yeah. But if you want to join again, you always can. But yeah, lifetime access for everybody, for everything. So within the welcome module, with the progress tracking, before I get into the thought work, everyone has a Google Drive. Everyone has a form that's completely unique for you. So every single one of you have a different Google form that is now saved directly to you. And it looks like this. So it's like everyone has a form with responses, and I have all of your responses ready to rally. What it's going to look like, and then I just made this like for myself, is each week we're going to get on, and the first 10 minutes, I'll start a timer like that. And from 1 to 110, you're going to be going through this. And what I did is I created a spreadsheet for all of your responses. So if we go into my responses, you can see what week it is, your wins, and all of that is included for you. And instead of you having to do that and make a tracker for yourself so you can see your growth and things like that, I have the spreadsheets here for you. So if you want to say, let's say you're like, oh, this is very helpful. I would like to take this. It's like I want to continue to see my responses every single week. You can make sure that you have this in your drive. So that's, and the way that you do that, actually, everybody, let's do this to start. We're going to start with this. Okay. So what I would like for everybody to do is you're going to have to minimize Zoom. And then you're going to have me and my screen over on the left. And then you're going to have you and your screen where you're going to see the whole Six Figure Systems stream and classwork on the right, or vice versa. I was like, could be left. I'm a righty, so give me a thumbs up when you've got it. Thanks, Missy.
Can you repeat what you said? I'm not following what you're
Yeah,
doing.
so it's like right now you probably see me full screen on your computer. What I want you to do is make me smaller and make this like, and I'm gonna have to stop sharing my screen to kind of like describe it, but there's a button where it says enter full screen, or it'll say, um, it's like for me, it's like little two green arrows where it will say enter exit full screen. And then you'll see all of us as tiles of humans. And this is another thing I learned with the last round. Going back and forth was tricky. So then you should see me in a smaller window, and then in another window just pulling up the classroom. And I like to have it side by side. And then, so does everybody have that at least? Anise, how you got it? Okay, Sharon, how you feeling? Okay, great, great. Okay. So within that, then you'll see the whole classroom, and then go down to your progress tracking form. And you should only see yourself. And then you're going to click on the form or the spreadsheet. And once you click in there, you're going to get your responses, and you should see all of your responses already just for today. Okay, awesome. What you're going to do is you're going to click here where there's a little folder, and it's got like a folder with an arrow next to your name responses, next to the star and next to the little cloud. And you're going to click, we're going to move this to your drive. So we're going to take, because right now, if you save anything that you make a copy of, it goes to anywhere in your drive. It doesn't get organized. And this is all about organizing. So what we want to do is we want to save this into a new folder. So what you're going to do is you're going to click on all locations. Then you're going to click My Drive. And then at the bottom left, you should see a little folder with a plus button that says New Folder. This is the first, you'll do this within each module, but this is the folder you're creating for all of the whole program. And you're going to create a new folder called Six Figure Systems. Again, lots of housekeeping. We might even go more than an hour, and this is so important. So you want to create a new folder called Six Figure Systems. And I'm just saying example round 4, just so you know what the EXR4 is. And then you have a new empty folder for all the amazing things that you're going to have within this round. Okay, do you see a folder thing now, Tammy?
No, it looked like it automatically saved to my drive, so I had to go into my drive and I'm in
and
my
move
drive,
it.
created a folder from my drive, but it doesn't let me color code or anything like that.
Well, we'll get to that. So when you go to 1, so we're going to create this as 1. And so you're going to do, because you can't move things around in Google Drive. It has to be alphabetical. So we're going to do 1 mindset, MINDSET /offer. So within the Six Figure Systems folder, we're going to make a subfolder for all the things for today. And this is, again, the first 3 weeks. It's like, wait, what? But after you guys do this like 4 times, you're going to be like, okay, I know what to do. And then you're going to move it here. So what you should have, if you just go to your general Google Drive, and you go in your whole drive, and you go to folders, you should see one that says Six Figure Systems, and then you'll see your mindset offer, and then you'll see your responses. So everything that we save for this whole mastermind will be in here. Now, if you want to change it to match my colors, you can double click, organize, and make it red if you want. Again, color coding is optional. It just keeps my brain sane. So I know that's a lot at the beginning. Are there any questions about like how to find where we just save something? It's important. Awesome. Okay. So from here, what you can do now is now that you've got that, if you wanted to, you can go in, and I'm just going to make sure I include this now. After this call, not now, you can go into Google Classroom, and I'm just updating the spreadsheet. That's what I'm doing here. And you're going to see this new welcome slides here. And you're going to, if you wanted to just have all the folders ready and organized, you could literally just go in and do this. So again, it's in the setup systems. If you click at the setup systems, click in. After there's a video, like if some of you guys might have watched these modules ahead of time, here's a fancy pre-recorded one that I did this summer. So you could watch exactly what I said again, or you could just do the replay of today to hear what I just talked about. And then you click in the slides. And when you click onto the slides, then you shall see on slide 8, if you wanted to make all these folders ahead of time, you are more than welcome to, but you do not have to. Oh my gosh, I love that. It's like I'm seeing everyone popping up in there. Amazing. Are there any questions about just kind of like the basics of like Google Drive, like anything like that? Also, the Google Drive example is the same thing. It's just so you can see what it looks like for me. Okay, cool. All right. So if you have any questions, feel free to pause me. No such thing as a stupid question. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And if you guys want to minimize your screen or maximize your screen again, go back to seeing this as a full screen thing. And then we're going to talk about thought work, which you might need some thought work after doing all the all the managing. It's like, I know the first, I would say 2 weeks are, you're just going to be like, okay, there's stuff here and we're going to take it one day at a time. Actually, I think Missy, you were asking me like, what is the biggest challenge for people? And I think it's just like taking that and being like, okay, it's like, I know I'm going to learn a lot in these first couple weeks and I'm okay with like breathing through it and are willing to ask questions at any point. Yes, brain is melting. Yes, we do not want brains to melt. So definitely doing the thought work that I'm about to explain is very important. Now, the reason why I do teach thought work and reprogramming your subconscious is because anytime there's anything new, even though this stuff I know will help you, in like 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now, we're gonna be like, oh my gosh, remember when we were first starting how to do this? And it's gonna be way easier. Your program, your subconscious still might need a little tweaking. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about how to really understand your nervous system as you're gleaning all these new awesome things and regulating yourself so that you can actually take in this information and do something productive with it instead of just spinning out in overwhelm. And one of the reasons why, like, I'm even considering not making a pay in full, you get all the modules at once situation is because this can be really overwhelming for people. And so that's why we drip the modules so that it's like every week you get a different thing. So we're going to talk about how to, first off, the intro of your nervous system and subconscious. Then we're going to talk about how your mind works. And as all of you guys are coaches, everyone's come from a different-ish background. So we're just going to get on the same kind of page for how to coach yourself and how I'm going to be coaching you. So that way you guys just have a baseline for how I use the model, which is my tool of training and choice, and how to intentionally recreate this awesome 6-figure self-concept that you are building. So, and I'll talk about how you're going to download this eventually, but each of you are going to get a template at the end of this. And the reason why this whole module is here at the very beginning is I know it's a lot. I know it's a fair amount at the beginning. And so we want to make sure that your mind is as clean as it can be. The goal is never to have a perfectly clean mind, but a clean enough mind enough to make sure that you're gleaning and understanding this information and putting it into practice. So what you want to do is we want to understand where you're at. And then the way this is going to be the unintentional model. Then we're going to question, and I like to use Byron Katie's 5 questions. If you are not familiar with it, you do not need to be, or the model. Anything that I teach, you can start scratch, but that is what I use to question within your subconscious. And then choosing intentionally. Okay, what do I actually want to create? So the reason why this is the first, almost like a pre-module startup module is I noticed that as we add new things in this program, your brain is going to resist it. And so what we want to do is we just want to have a protocol in place if your brain is freaking out, to be almost a daily routine that keeps you in a productive mindset. This goal, and no one has ever like been like, oh my gosh, it's like this made me less productive, but we want to just keep you in a productive mindset throughout the whole program. So this is just an interesting chart that you do not need to memorize in any shape or form. But one of the things that I found really interesting is I learned a little bit about the polyvagal theory. And any time that your nervous system encounters a threat, you're going to experience what's called activation. So right now, you guys might be feeling activated. If you are feeling anxiety, worry, concern, panic, maybe hopefully not in the helplessness, shut down, any of that. Hopefully we're not there after 47 minutes in, but you might be, and that's okay. We want to get to know our nervous system as CEOs of these amazing businesses and be able to stay as what's called the opposite of deactivation is regulation. We want to stay as regulated as possible because businesses a lot of times trigger our nervous system's safety response. So, like most of you guys have experienced, when you experience an arousal, when you feel yourself starting to panic, fear, worry, concern, any of that's happening, what happens is the most important thing on this side is that your rational ability decreases. So if you are getting nervous or like concerned in any way, shape, or form, what's happening is your brain's ability to problem solve and rationally think. And that's actually a relational ability, but it's also rational ability. What happens is we need to bring you back down to stay, okay, curious, compassionate, present, grounded, and settled. Now, within this mastermind, there will be stages where your brain is going to be freaking out a little bit. Today might be one of those days. Hopefully, it is not in a stage 3, but you might be. Stuff is going to happen. I have never, and a client of mine said this the other day. She's like, I've never gone through 6 months of my life where my life just stopped lifing and I could just build my business. Wouldn't that be nice? Like, it's like, I wish that these next 6 months, not only is this going to be like incredible, but like nothing bad is going to happen and you're not going to have anything happen with like vacations aren't going to happen. It's like I in our brains, like perfect scenario, I think a lot of us are like, we just want 6 blissful months where nothing happens and nothing goes on. And what happens is life happens. So I want you guys to reach out to me for help. I want you to, yes, exactly, right? Same. But that's why we've got coaching, right? It's something bad will probably happen in life and or your business. And so what I want you guys to do is like reach out for help. People are going to be experiencing wins and we're either earning or we're learning. So we're going to be experiencing earning stages or learning stages. And this is, again, a safe place for you to bring your business stuff, bring your life stuff, for us to support each other for the next 6 months. So please reach out to me if you're feeling these kind of things. Another great way, if you guys want to keep it private in your progress tracking in that form where it says anything else you want to tell me, please put stage 1, 2, or 3. Let me know. I will be reaching out to you guys like periodically as this goes, but it's just helpful if you guys can let me know so we can be proactive about things. You're also going to get a midway coaching session. So that will be in March. And if you haven't had your one-on-one welcome session, we can talk about it then. And then you can always post in the stream, of course. But just so you know, there are lots of places for you to go for support for this. Do not hesitate to ask for support. That is what you have paid $5,000 for. So that is important. Now, the way that I was taught the model, which is my coaching tool of choice, that I think that some of you guys are probably familiar with. I was taught that you have a circumstance, then you have your thought, feeling, action, result. And I took a neurolinguistic programming, if anyone is familiar with that. I took a program where they kind of explained it in an even more in-depth way that I'm going to explain to you now. If this is, I like science. So if the science is like, you're like, yes, science, let me hear it, tune in. If you're like, no, this is overwhelming already, feel free to tune out and re-listen to this later. So within the way that I understand the model is that there is a circumstance that comes at you at 2 million bits of information per second, which is a ton of information. Right now, as you're listening to me, your brain is hearing what I'm saying, you're seeing me, you might be writing stuff down. So much is happening that your brain can't possibly actually listen to everything that I'm saying. In fact, it only takes in about 20% of what I say, hence the replays and the modules. But what happens is most of us function from a self concept or a view of ourselves that is completely unintentional. Like, no idea what's actually going on in there. It's just kind of like defaulted. But that is the critical piece about coaching, is that self concept. It's like your filter system. So it takes the 2 million bits of information per second and it takes it all the way down into 134 bits of information per second. So what the heck is happening to that 1,800-ish information? It's totally tossed out. So we really want to understand throughout these next 6 months, what is your filtration system? How does your brain think, and how can we change that to become the next version of yourself? Not that where you are is not good and where the next level is better, but just for comparison. So your meta programs are how you think about yourself. Your attitudes are the way that, like, if you are like, oh my gosh, I've been a part of like masterminds before and like a lot has happened, it's like that will play into this. Your memories, your decisions, your values, and your beliefs all encompass your self-concept. So the way that I would love, I will be coaching you. You can coach yourself in any way. You don't have to coach yourself. But if you are coaching yourself, this is what I found to be the most helpful way, is to pick out, to do a thought download on everything that the circumstance is triggering, which just means writing a couple of paragraphs about the circumstance. Then to go through and pick one thought that is causing, which is one sentence that is causing the most woe, one feeling, and 5-ish actions that cause the result. I'll show you what that looks like. And I said before, you've got to win over your mind before you win over your life. So we want to make sure that we are winning over our mind as we do new things that are important. So like I mentioned before, thought download, and then there's going to be Byron Katie's 5 questions in the intentional model. I'm going to come back to the slides I skipped intentionally. So for instance, if we're just talking about the unintentional model, the way that I like to do this is like what I said before, is pulling one thought, one feeling, and 5 actions and for a result. So I picked something that I think most of us can relate to. Posting on social media can be triggering to most humans. It's like, it goes, but based on your current self-concept, your thoughts are going to be different than my thoughts. But if I were to be posting on social, feel myself start to get activated, I would have the thought, this is hard. That is a thought that I've worked through, but that sentence, I would do a whole download and be like, oh my gosh, people are going to judge me. People don't like me. Oh my God, what's going on? Write all that out. And then I would pull the biggest thought problem and say, okay, this is hard. And then pull it down to one emotion. This is hard could come up with a bunch of emotions, but one feeling of anxiety. 5 things that I would do: rewrite, procrastinate, catastrophize, ruminate, spiral. And from that thought, this is hard, it actually undermines my ability to make posting easy. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. Brain. I'm like, thanks for braining, and let's just take a moment. So what we want to do here is, this is kind of like the example that I gave you. So this is what it would look like. And I like to do thought work in the morning, but you can also do it if you ever get triggered. I just like to it's almost like making my bed. I'm like, I do it on the way back home from yoga. Again, not a mandatory thing as a part of this mastermind, just so you guys can see what I like to do. And this is my thought download. This is absolutely pointless. I hate posting on social media. It takes forever. No one likes anything I post. This other business is doing way better than I am. No one will ever work with me. Everything I say is stupid. This doesn't even matter. And one of the things that I realize is like, I was like, my brain is really resisting it because I was like, posting is hard. And so I pulled out, and I should put that sentence in there, but I didn't. But if my goal is to post 3 times a week, that thought, this is hard, is going to stop me from reaching this goal every time. If I continue to have this thought, it's not going to serve me as a CEO of this business. So then I can model it out and go like this. Now, the next piece, so it's like, that is lovely. That awareness in and of itself, I was like, that's helpful. And I'm going to go to the question. That's what it looks like. I'm going to go back to the questions. But I'm like, okay, why is this hard a part of my current self-concept? What's going on here? There's a part of this in my current self-concept. Where did this come from? This is hard. And so then I go in, and this is kind of like where I like to listen to my subconscious, and I'm like, okay, how is it true that it's hard? Brain, you tell me, why are you braining so hard against posting right now? Not loving this. And it's like, it'll tell you why. So it's like, for me, when I think about, is it true? I'm like, I never want people to judge me. I was bullied as a kid. And like, if I were to listen to like my subconscious's fears, it was like, I'm scared of being rejected. And I'm like, oh, so do you guys, this is the trickiest part. And if you have any questions about your self-coaching, feel free to bring it. So I'm like, oh, subconscious, I can see why posting is threatening to you. Feels really scary. Makes sense. But then I ask myself the next question 2, is it absolutely true? And I'm like, okay, nervous system, I hear you. But then I think, unfortunately, people are judging me anyways. Even if I'm the person they want me to be, I'm still going to get rejected and judged and bullied anyways, probably. So I might as well leave this planet and Earth being judged for something I'm proud of. So it's almost like hearing like your prefrontal or primitive, or it's like your prefrontal logical brain is the conscious brain having a conversation with your subconscious brain. And then having that perspective, it's almost like you hear both sides. And then so you take like a drone's perspective, and you're like, okay, how am I showing up when I think the thought, I don't want people to judge me? And I realize that I'm showing up as someone who's constantly judging themselves and constantly thinking about what other people think. And I'm like, oh, don't like that overhead view. Not ideal. And I'm like, so this is when it's almost like you come back down to like the judge is like having a conversation with like the defendant and the wit or whatever the, I don't know, lawyery terms. But it's like then he comes back down, or she or they come back down, and they're like, hey, subconscious, can you feel safe enough to like progress towards this view? And that's when you want to compassionately reason with yourself and be like, hey, brain, I really appreciate you braining, but I, again, don't want to leave this planet without getting this business out into the world. And I know that you kind of don't want that either. So can we work together and make this happen? And then you can use the next piece is like, who would you be without that thought? If I didn't have the thought, I don't want people to judge me, I would be courageously going forward, helping people with my business while having my own back. So that's what it looks like, just so you guys can see that here. And again, you do not have to coach yourself every day. This is just so that you guys can see if I like start throwing out true, absolutely true. Like I actually type and I coach, like as I coach you, it's just like what you saw in your consults. I will be taking notes And I just didn't want anyone to be like, what the fuck what's this true? Like, I don't understand. It's like, what is going on? So that is why this is here as an explanation. And then the cool thing is that even though your subconscious is running the show 80% of the time, if you can get that subconscious piece on board, you can do that through the intentional model. Now, for me, I'm a very like a part of my self concept that I can use for my past and present self to like move forward in the direction of my dreams is that I'm very determined. Like if someone gives me a challenge, I will go for it. I'm like, all right. So even my subconscious is very much on board with it. So I'm like, if I want to create the result of making posting easier on myself, sometimes I'll go directly back to this one. I'll be like, what were the things that I was doing before? What are the opposite? Let me do that. Other times I'm like, okay, so it's like thought work, getting things done, envisioning instead of catastrophizing, use my imagination for good instead of for evil. Actually healing that like scared sixth grade Megan who always freaks out whenever I do something new or I'm on a podcast or something. I'm like, it's cool. It's cool. Sixth grade me. We're good. We are in 2023, 2024. Like, we're going to be okay doing B- work. But that feeling of determined is one I can always come back to that can bridge the gap between my old and present and future self. And the thought I can do anything I put my mind to is always a good driver for me. So, what I'm going to be doing in this mastermind is I'm going to be coaching you. I do find it to be a critical piece of the reason why my business has grown as kind of quickly as it has. And along with that, like right now, I do not want you to be miserable. I spent a lot of the first 2 years of my business feeling really crappy, even though I had self coaching. And I want you to like make this journey enjoyable. I'm like, we are in this mastermind. We're going to have the best 6 months ever. And if we can help get your subconscious on board, we want to make it more fulfilling. Oh, the plaintiff and the defendant. Very helpful. Thank you, Tammy. I was like, what are these two like lawyer terms? I will remember that for next time. But the other thing is that not only for self coaching and like the benefits of coaching, you guys all know you're coaches, but when you have a calm nervous system, you're able to be more reliable and you're able to more consistently produce high level results. So it's just helping you to stay in a state of homeostasis like throughout this entire mastermind. You can also be more effective and efficient, and you'll be able to be more committed to this work. So you're going to be able to think about the big picture. So if you want to make this a part of your daily practice, you are more than welcome to. And I would love for you like to do this. So you guys have really got this. I just wanted to explain why that's the first thing. And we're going to create your first usable template if you want to use it now. So what I would like for you to do is go back to that. Again, we're going to be doing like you're making copies and these are the only two real modules that you're going to go in and out like this. But go ahead and minimize me on your screen just like you did when you put your progress tracker into your drive. If you don't want to throw up too much already. I was like, don't worry, it gets better. Go ahead and click into the classroom again. And instead of scrolling down to the progress forms, go back up to the start here setup systems. And underneath where it says the welcome video and slides Google Drive example, then there's a mindset thought work video slides, boom, thought work template. I want you to click on that bad boy. And it'll say, would you like to make a copy? This is the first time you guys have seen this. It'll say, would you like to make a copy of the thought work template? And you will say, yes, sweet Googles. I would like to make a copy. And here is a template that you can use throughout our lovely time together. Now, remember, when you make a random copy, this will go to a random place in your drive. It will not be organized. So what we have to do is we just have to organize it by clicking on the folder that says move. Go to your six-figure systems example, or the six-figure systems folder that you just made. It should be the first thing that you see. Click on mindset and offer. And you should see your spreadsheet with responses. And then you'll click move. And this is here for you always. And the way that I use it is each day I'll just copy. I have the blank one first. And I just go 12/5. And I paste it and then start my thought work each day. And if you insert you can insert a horizontal line, but that's what I literally do. I do this pretty much every day that I'm working. In a launch, I do it multiple times a day sometimes. Okay. It's like, yeah, it's like an adventure and a half when you're launching. It's like, and sometimes you do thought work and you still end up crying on the kitchen floor, and it's also totally fine. Like nothing has gone wrong. Thought work doesn't save you from being a human, sadly, but does make it a little easier. Okay. I think this is the most in-depth I've ever explained this. I hope if you guys have any questions, you can reach out to me always. And we're going to move on to the last module of today for all of you, for your one-on-one calls, you're going to get this. So it's like, if you've already done a one-on-one call with me, it's exactly what we talked about. But for anyone who has a one-on-one call coming up, I just want to give you a brief overview of creating an offer that is badass and sells. So go ahead and bring me back to your full screen. Give you like a second to do that. I do think this is the best I've ever explained this, which is good. Because usually what will happen is that I explain this and people are like, wait. I'm like, I'm not hearing any waits, which is great. Great news. So maybe I'm doing something right, which is good. Okay. So when we are thinking about the importance of creating an offer, this is probably the biggest piece of what you'll do in six-figure systems. And it's something that you can take with you for just this understanding of how businesses work is just going to be really helpful. But I want you to know that I'm not a very unfun human. Hopefully you're seeing that, but it's within this, we're going to just have fun. You're going to make a decision and you can change these decisions at any time. I would say I would recommend seeing your decision all the way through and really giving it a try. So I say within the first, throughout the 5 months of this mastermind, let's make a decision and roll with it. But you can change your decision at any time. Whereas going for B- work, this is the best guess of what your pillars could be. And the goal is just to organize your business in general with all these systems. It's not to do it perfectly. And again, I love doing multiple rounds because each round, of the business mastermind 200K that I was a part of, it was just helpful to see every round. Oh, I'm getting a different layer of it. So trust yourself, take your time, and let's get into the problem with offers, plural, multiple offers. We're going to talk about the issues of that. We're also going to talk about why one simple offer is what I recommend for the course of this mastermind. Then we're going to talk about how to decide your timeline and pricing and how to name your offer. So Sharon and Missy, I know you guys have done this already, but I still think it's just helpful to hear. And then the rest of you guys are going to be meeting with me next week, and we're going to be hanging and creating this offer for you. So, Anise, you've got today. It was right after this call, which is awesome. So within this, the simple offer of creating one offer instead of multiple offers is I want you guys to grow and scale as quickly as possible. And that means that we need to make your offer as clear as possible so people can say, yes, I want to buy from you. This is the best thing ever. Yes, yes. And what happens is if you have too many offers, like a 6 month, a 3 month, you can do this and this and this. You can do a group, or you can maybe just do this. What happens is the human brain can only make 30,000 decisions every day, which also includes like a decision is like pick up cup, take sip. That's a decision. So very minimal decisions. And if any brain has too many decisions, what happens is there's going to be instant decision fatigue. And even if you've got the best thing ever since sliced bread, you're still going to get people saying no, which is like not great for you. And we got to fix that up. So what we want to do is we want to give every prospective customer, I think I said that right. My eyes are like, that seems like a word that isn't real, but I think it is a word. It's like, but when we're thinking about the customers that you have, we want to give them something that they want and they just like love buying from you. I forget who said it, but someone said like, I'm just so excited. Like they were like, this is the best money I've ever spent. They were like, I'm so excited. And I just like I think it's because I've learned how to articulate this same offer really, really well. And I want you guys to all have that experience where everyone who's buying from you is like, yes, for sure. It makes it fun to sell. It makes it fun to market, and it makes it fun to deliver to them. So we're going to stick with simple selling. And simple is just like the name of the game. So when you are crafting your high value offer, we want to be thinking about 4 questions. We want to be thinking about what problem do you solve? And Missy and Sharon, I don't know if we didn't talk, anyone who does a one-on-one, we won't be talking about this at this level. So overall, just thinking about what does your product solve? And your product is your offer. How will you solve the problem for them? Who are you solving the problem for? And why is it important for their problem to be solved right now? What is making it compelling and exciting for them to invest in your business and your offer right now? So what's going to happen is you're going to give your best guess for these pillars, and you're going to be like, yes, these feel the most as aligned as they can right now. And what's going to happen is you're going to change it and get it clearer and clearer as you go. For instance, for 6-figure systems, I had 6 pillars to start. And like I just mentioned, I've been selling this program for over a year now, and I just moved 2 over. I'm like, oh, so it's always evolving, always getting better, and being comfortable in that, like, this is good enough to just help somebody is where I want you guys to be. So within 6-figure systems, by the way, this was called the Business Fulfillment Mastermind to start. What is that? Who knows? I was like, but 9 people bought. And I was like, I was just so, I was like, I can help you with your business. I know this can help you with your business. I was just so compelled that I was like, please let me help you make things better. And then people bought. So just like know that how you say things and your passion and excitement around it behind it is just as important as the clarity in the wording. So don't need to be tied to that. But what the purpose of the whole 6-figure systems program is to help people create a successful business that is also simple and a lot more enjoyable and less confusing. So how I do that is I help you create a strong foundation with these core 4 things. And then I help you simplify the core 4. I help you by launching a profitable product, which is your offer, and plan for a fulfilling future. So you're going to learn all those things within the next 26 sessions. We're in one of 26. We got plenty of time. And this works best for solopreneurs, which means it's just you and people who have side hustles or startups. So startup, I would say, is different than a side hustle if you're full-time. in your business. And why this is important is you are going to learn how to manage your mind, your resources, and the methods that you choose to like have this business for you to truly enjoy being an entrepreneur. So you can think about that overall. And actually, Sharon, you're the first person who's ever done that, but you actually like wrote that down for your overall program. And so if you want to do that, write out your overall who, what, when, or who was it? What, how, who, why? I said like who like 10 times. I was like, who? I'm like, sounds like an owl over here. I'm like, nope, we're just, if you want to put those things out for your entire program, that could be helpful for you to share about what you do as well. Now, when we're thinking about how long to make your program, what to price, these are the 3 rules I like to live by. I like to think about a length of time that it would take for someone who's like a great fit for this program to get results, and then add in some more buffer time. For you guys, you're going to get the main things in a month. I think that by month 4, you guys would be totally fine. Like you'll have all the systems, you'll have the additional systems, but I wanted to give you 2 more months of buffer to really make sure that you guys have got this. Usually it takes 90 days for somebody to get a result, and then for marketing specifically, not for life, but marketing. And so what I did is I was like, let me just double that. I was like, so you can see that consistency and actually see what you're doing in here paying off. Now, and it could pay off like way sooner. It's just like that's like rule of thumb. It will pay off sooner than that, but yeah. So within that, you also want to think about like what would be like an absolute steal for your people. Like I feel like literally the website in itself, I think I just told you guys I paid $3,000 for that. And that isn't even something I'm teaching. I'm like 5,000 for this just feels like, oh my gosh, it feels like an absolute steal. I'm like, you guys are going to make your money back, like for sure over time, if not within the 6 months that we're in this together. And you're also just going to have everything you need to really scale and soar. So it feels just so great to sell to you guys. Like, I was like, I think you guys felt that when we were on our consult. I was like, I really think this could be the best fit for you. I want you to feel that way when you talk to your people. And then also thinking about over delivering. Like it's like getting the what's it called? The website and stuff. I don't even really sell that. It's like or like even like you might not even know that you're gonna get 3 one-on-one calls or what the progress tracking looks like. I want every time that you show up for you to be like, oh my God, this is like way more than I thought it was. And I want your clients to feel like that too. Because it just feels so fun as a person that's running your business. I think it's just awesome. So yes. So within I was like, I'm using up all my decisions. I'm like, I was like, and I'm still talking in coherent words most of the time, which is great. I'm just gonna take a quick sip. So within naming your offer, the reason why this is important is we want to make you stand out in your industry. We want you to become the top of mind expert that not only you are marketing, but that people start to recognize, ooh, I am not just investing in Megan Wynn coaching. I'm investing in the 6-figure systems offer. I'm investing in the career fulfillment initiative. And not only that is like you're creating a movement of like, this is what the kind of thing I want to create in the world. And you're making it so as people can speak easily about what you do. So a way that you can name your offer is who it's for, the ultimate result and time frame, and then the cost. That could also be a good way that you can name it. So like the 200K mastermind, it's a mastermind for people who want to get 200K. Online Coach Accelerator was another program I did in between leaving teaching and 200K. Profitable Yoga Boss program group. People who want to be profitable yogaers. Close to articulate. I was like, we're getting there. We're so close to being done. So I'm like, then I can actually just coach you guys. The Get Over Your Ex program. This is something I did 2 years ago as when I was broken up with. I was like, I need this. I was like, please, Dorothy, help me. It's been 8 years. And it worked really well. And then the Career Fulfillment Initiative. That was what my original program was. And now it's Six Figure Systems. So again, who it's for, an adjective, ultimate result. Those are other really great ways to name your program and stand out. The next piece of your business is the core pillars of your business. So you guys probably heard me talking about this a little bit, but you might not have understood exactly what I meant. So within your offer, you've got like the whole overarching offer. Here's what I do. I do six-figure systems. However, one of the things that was really important to me is when we're thinking about the front end of your business, aka what everybody else in the outside world sees, you want to have cohesive messaging as you market, as you sell, and as you deliver to your clients. One of the things that I've seen hold back people is that they are marketing to something that doesn't necessarily deliver the same result. And what happens is you get you'll see what happens. So for instance, there have been programs that like they'll say get leads. It's like get like 100 leads in like 1 hour. And so it's how they're marketing it. You get sold that you're going to get 100 leads in 1 hour. And then when they deliver it, it's like 1 hour after 6 months of work. Not great for customers. And so I just don't want, like, you will probably have unhappy customers at some point, but this is a way to prevent that. And so there are lots of ways for you to think about those pillars. But the way I figured it out is I was like, okay, what are the things that as a coach I could teach other people to do? I knew I wanted to teach the model, boundaries, Monday Hour One, and the Wheel of Life. So this is from my old coaching program, and you'll see how it shifted since then. But I was like, these are the 4 things that I can communicate to another human being. So that's where I started. And you might hear me use the word PSPR. It's an acronym for problem, solution, process, result. It's from Stacey Bayman, who is my business coach currently. And I love the way that she taught this. And this is just like a next layer of it where you're like, okay, so I just started with the process. I was like, these are the processes I could teach somebody. And then I thought about what is the problem that my people need the model for? Some people need the model to overcome healing in a relationship. Some people need the model to create generational financial shifts. For me, my people needed the model because they were constantly stressed. So what I did is I helped them solve the root cause of stress instead of constantly feeling stressed. And then the result was to actually enjoy their jobs. Since I have done the core pillar breakdown or the PSPR, I've shifted a couple of things. So the way that I like to think about the problem is thinking about someone who comes to you on a consult that's really struggling. Why would they come to you? What would they say? For the solution, you can think about what would they say where do they want to be X amount of time from now? So like, where do they want to be 6 months now? Usually I would have people just be like, I just want to be less stressed. The biggest shift that you guys are going to see on mine that's updated and when we meet is that the process. I found that when I was telling people I did the unintentional to intentional model, they were like, wait, you're going to solve stress with a model? They were like a fashion model? I was like, no. You're going to go in depth with your brain and we're going to rewire and people were just like, what is this? So I renamed this process to the reprogramming your subconscious protocol. You'll see that with my examples, but we'll talk about when you have a process, you want to rename it to be something that people can infer, okay, this is going to help me with my problem. And they can use context clues to discover like what that is And again, you'll see that in a minute. But within this, so I just did that with each of the things that I taught. And I came up with my pillars. So I was like, oh, stress. What is something that people would be actively Googling to solve for? Burnout. People were actually like looking that up. And that's how I got a bunch of random people from Instagram that just found me. They wanted to learn more about how I helped them overcome burnout. Time management is the pillar for Monday Hour One. Work-life balance, boundaries, long-term plan, wheel of life. So that's what we're going to be doing on our one-on-one call is we're going to be making these pillars for you. And I want you guys to hopefully have that. Yes, it's in the template as I'll pull that up in just a second, Tammy. The new one, I'll show you guys that. But within that, you're going to use this for your marketing. Like I said, we're going to talk about this. It's not week 8, it's week 2. Next week, we're going to talk about how you're going to use each of those topics as you market your business. So that's why we have these one-on-one calls now instead of later. Before, the way the program was set up is we would have our one-on-one calls throughout the first month. I would love for you guys, if you can, book a call this week, or we can do it next week, but that's why it helps. And then selling, which is going to be week 3, and then delivery, which will be week 6. So you're going to see how these things do help your business. And you are doing amazing. So for this one, you don't need to exit your screen like you did before if you don't want to, but I'm going to be making a template of the pillars with you for your one-on-one call. However, if you want to work on it ahead of time, or if you already came to the call with it, this is what it looks like. So, and again, you do not need to make this right now, but we're going to, and this is where I was like, you want to have words like the in front of anything because it really like, it's crazy. The difference between career fulfillment initiative and the career fulfillment initiative, it's like really changed the way people thought about it. They were like, oh, instead of just career fulfillment, it's the thing for career fulfillment. I found it helps. Again, totally just a suggestion for you guys. And then what it's going to save them. So we're going to be doing this together. Again, you do not need to dig into this. And this is my example. I literally just redid this a couple of weeks ago about the like, and changed it. So instead of just being like, I teach you how to make a content calendar, like that's great. But now I say, I'm going to teach you the powerful positioning strategy. People are like, whoa. And they're able to like figure it out between like solution and result. I teach you for selling, I teach you the console conversion blueprint. Just one thing, but still pretty good. Managing leads, I teach you the engagement protocol. Helps you generate a bunch of leads. And we're planning, I teach you the CEO scheduling system. So again, you can see that like if I'm not managing my leads or bringing in any leads, engaging with leads will probably help. If I'm having trouble planning, the CEO scheduling system will help. And having a word like strategy, blueprint, system, protocol, method, any of those kind of words, it helps people build instant know, like, and trust with you. Because when people are coming onto a consult, they probably know you, they probably like you, but we really want to build them and make them feel safe that like, hey, like there is something I will learn when I pay this money for this person. So that is where we are at. I want you guys to just like take all this in. I don't know about you guys, but I could use a quick bathroom break. So let's just like take 2 minutes. If you want to just organize things, you can, and we'll meet back here at 2:33 Eastern time. Are you work? Get set. Take 2 minutes. Adios. I'll give everyone till 34. If you want to take notes outside of the notes I'm taking, feel free to pull up a document, but I will send all of this to you guys. Also, I have endometriosis, TMI, but kind of important. So I was like, if you ever see me like taking a ton of Advil like every 4 weeks, it is fun. It's an adventure. All right. Now for coaching, which is what we're getting into now until 3 Eastern, this is open time. So during this coaching time, you can literally, oh, can you hear me, guys? It's like I'm here. Yep, shoving food is great. Excellent. I saw Jess's message. So within this, literally bring any questions you have. We are all women in this group. So I think a lot of times women are, and I'm totally gendering this. So like, feel free to take whatever beliefs you have. But I think a lot of times we are given subliminal messages that we don't need to raise our hand. We need to stay quiet. And this is a group where we are going to encourage like raising our voices, standing out and standing up for different things. So if you are asking the same question, if you're the same person raising your hand every time, totally fine. I was like, please do not. So many people apologize for that. So don't apologize. If you want to get coaching every single time, feel free to. And it's completely open coaching. So if, for instance, you're doing a webinar tomorrow and we haven't talked about webinars at all, you can still bring it to this. If you are like, I just have general mindset stuff, that's like perfect. And you could also be like, okay, I was like working on my thought work and I need help with this. Can you help me look over my slides? Can you look over this post for me? All those things are going to be like, can either be for mindset or strategy. So whatever you need, that is what this time is for. I know that this is our first call. So Tammy, I was like, I know if anyone's gonna raise their hand. So Tammy, and that's the way, if you want to get coached on something also, and we don't get to you for some reason in the stream, you can post literally anything that you have questions about and I will respond as well. But let's bring it. Tell me, and we're going to start with a win. So what's something positive going on for you? And then we'll get to it.
Something positive for me was having a 5-figure month last month.
Woo!
Yes.
I love it. What could you do? What would you like some coaching on?
Well, I actually had a question regarding the course really quick. Do you get into any Canva templates, carousels, things like that as well?
I do sometimes, but so since I've had a new social media person and I bop around, I did get comments that like I bop around really quickly. So if this is too quick for you, just like know that you do not need to be as quick as me. But now I use the same template for pretty much everything. Like it's always this one. And that's what she uses for like pretty much everything. It's just a blank thing. But I can, for like this, where there's a carousel post and you can see like the different things. By the way, these are my pillars. We're going to talk about this like next week. I can share this with you guys next week and you can literally use the exact same thing I have.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And then in terms of coaching, like I'm finding, oh man, I had a crazy month last month. It wasn't anything that I planned. I'm a believer, so I totally believe it was a God thing. So now I'm kind of like coming off this high going, oh man, I can feel this pressure of, oh man, how am I going to top that? And, or how am I going to at least get back to doing another month like that? So I can feel this pressure.
Mm-hmm. And I think that if you were to answer that question for yourself, that's a great point. Questions can never go in the thought line. So if you were to answer that question, how am I going to top that? It would be
I
the-
gotta top that.
I have to top that.
Yeah, or even like, I'm trying to think of some of the other stuff I was thinking. It's like, yeah, like this, I desire to top that.
Yeah. It's like, I want to top that. And for the thought download, I'm just abbreviating here. It would be you're like, how am I going to keep that up? And questions can come here.
Right. Yeah.
To keep that up. I
Mhm.
don't know if I can. But I want you to think about from that thought, I have to top that, and feeling pressure.
Mhm.
What are 5 things that you're either doing or not doing in your business?
So as it relates specifically to pressure, like when I'm showing up to things there, well, in terms of connecting with people, like I feel that pressure. So I'm sure I'm connecting with pressure. Um and then even avoidance, like there's been like I was doing reels very consistently, then all of a sudden it was like foot off the gas. So not posting consistently. Yeah, I mean, just being inconsistent with the basics that I was doing prior to having that month. And I see it and I'm going, I know I have to shift this, but what is going on here?
Yeah.
Yeah, is that 5? I think
That's yeah, I would say not putting out reels any like you used to.
yeah.
So your fear, it's like the pressure is coming from this thought, I have to top that, right?
Or not even, I don't even know about topping it, because I'd be ecstatic to have, even a $5,000 month, because my norm before that was like 2,000, with mixing in, like the various hats that I wear with, admin and coaching and debt consulting and stuff like that. So I'd be happy to have a $5,000 month. But I think what it is there's this thought of, oh, like I couldn't possibly do that again.
Yep.
So not even about topping it, but more about, could it really happen again 2 months in a row?
And I think that it would be almost like a different feeling of like disbelief or something like that. Like,
Yeah, like
what,
second guessing.
timid? Like, or I can't do that again. If you say I can't do that again, what emotion does that comes up for you?
It's kind of like a shutdown, kind of like a, not a fawn. It's kind of like a freeze response. So it's like I'm not doing anything. I know I'm freezing.
Yep.
And even flight, kind of, okay, I'm going to avoid it. Let me go take a nap. That sounds really productive.
Right? It's like napping. I was like, or
Not
doom,
that I actually do, unless it's the weekend,
but
but
just feeling like it. It always like, for me, I love to doom scroll. I'm like, it's my favorite.
oh,
It's
yes,
the
yes.
best. I'm
Doom
like, just
scrolling. I will borrow that phrase. Thank you.
yep.
Yes.
I was like, just doom scroll on the gram. And
Yes.
what happens is you just undermine your ability to top and or do it again.
Yeah. Yeah.
What comes up when I say that? Did your subconscious realize that was what was going on?
It it's like a, yeah, because I already know I'm not doing things consistently. And I know it's like a form of self-sabotage, or I'm thinking it's a form of self-sabotage. And like kind of like my thermostat is set at a certain level, but now we exceeded it. The thermostat needs to be fixed. Because I'm going, I just broke myself. I've never done that before. Like in this industry, like I've made that much before back when I was doing debt collections. But in this realm of being a coach and mentoring people with their, unbudgeted budget and stuff like that, it's very different.
Why?
I think it's probably because when I was a debt collector, I knew exactly what to do. I got trained up. I had systems already in place. All I had to do was follow it. And then because like I could sit for hours and pound the phone, it'd be nothing for me to put out, 300 dials in a day. Now that I am my own entity, shall I say, like there's no one telling me, hey, Tammy, do this, then this, then this, wash, rinse, repeat. All I know to do is, okay, I'm going to make reels, engage with people, let them know I'm a coach, offer to help, and that's it. And then it's like, then I kind of get lost in the shuffle of the ins and outs of, oh, well, I could do a carousel, or I could do a video, or I could do a long form post, or I could just do like a short form post, or, whatever, or I could get lost in buying somebody's course or paying somebody to do all that for me.
Yep. And I think that this might be something that everyone can examine, is that like, first off, the telling everyone to do, now I don't really know what to do, so I'm feeling kind of lost. Just an examination of itself. However, I think that before there might have been like lots of things that you had to do, and you're thinking there must be more to have running the coaching business. So this is what I would say is like, this is like the true, if we're thinking about like, it's like, there must be something else that I need
Yeah,
to
like
do.
what am I missing?
What am I missing? Right?
Like, is it really this simple? Like, yeah, because I'm reflecting on last month and I didn't work a single 40-hour work week all week.
Right. But
And that's what's also tripping me up, is because I have also a subconscious belief of it has to be hard, and that wasn't hard.
yes, isn't that crazy? So it's like your brain is like, it has to be hard or else it won't work.
Right. Or I have to really bust my butt. Otherwise, there's something with value too, like that worthiness, that value, that if I'm not way over delivering on something, then I'm a fraud, or, like all these mixed in thoughts with it that
Mhm.
all wrap into one.
Oh my God, this is so good. Literally, like, I think that this is a societal thing for most of our societies. In the US, I think this is like a very like capitalist kind of thing that we are sold. However, your brain, the reason why you're like, if this is a like this thought, like I need to work, I really need to bust my butt and work really hard or else it won't work. You are literally experiencing what's called cognitive dissonance, which is where you're having two opposing like thoughts. So it's like, this is a thought, I have to work hard or else it won't work. And there's this other thought that like, I didn't work hard and it did work. So now your brain is just like, what? And that's why you're in this response. That's why you're like, what? So
Yeah.
it's like, is it absolutely true that hard work equals will work?
Will work?
So this is where we use your logical brain. Your subconscious is like, oh, I have to work really hard for it to work, but your logical brain is like, that actually didn't work. So it's
Right.
like, this is where you're like, actually, I worked less and it did work.
Yeah. And it's like I keep hearing something about consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's something tied in with, like, if I just make myself available, because I wasn't chasing anyone either. And I think that's the other thing that's tripping me up, is because I've done various seasons where I would wear various hats and like literally be chasing people down constantly just to get to, 4 figures, just
Yeah.
to get to, oh, $500. Oh my gosh, I got to get these last couple sales in,
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But this last month, it was like, the energy was like, hey, you either need my help and you want to get like confident in your budgeting and do it from a very different approach which is not poverty or lack mentality, or you don't. And I'm good either way. You know what I mean? And it's like, now it's like, oh, now because that pressure has snuck in of, oh, I got to get to 10,000 again, or
Mm-hmm.
I'm a fraud, or, oh, like I don't know, just all those things kind of intertwining. So yeah, like I feel like the absolute truth is that I get to be consistent with my system. And I think once I hone in on my system, I hone in on, like you were talking about, like the pillars and stuff. I think once I do that, I'll have a ton of posts from that. And then it's like, I liked using Chat GPT just because I can, empathy map and all that stuff. So it's like, okay, that'll kind of make it fun for me to kind of see what comes up and add my own twist and spin on it.
Mhm.
But I think
But
it's really
here's
getting
what your
this-
brain is coming up against. It's like, you're like, this would actually be fun. It didn't feel hard. And your brain is like, oh my God, but it has to be hard. And of course, I think that everyone in this room is probably an achiever, like in some way, shape, or form, whether you're like a type 3. I was I that's what I am in whatever the Enneagram thingy. And it's like, I think that all of us are really high achievers. We get into having a business, and everything that we have done in the past to get where we needed to be, like working hard, working lots of hours, like chasing people, it doesn't work anymore. Or it does, but it just feels really hard. So it's like, when you're thinking about like, oh, this would be really fun, your brain is actually going to fight that because it thinks that fun can't be successful. So it's like, I want you to think about like, so the next question for Byron Katie is like, who are you when you think that thought? And it's almost like I want you to picture like work you, like debt collecting you is like trying to speak out in your subconscious. And
Yeah.
she's like, this is what has always worked. You must continue to do that thing that is working. But I want you to show up when you are entrepreneur, Tammy, and debt collecting, Tammy. It's like, how are you showing up when you're thinking the thought that like, I have to work harder, it won't work? If we were to take like a drone's perspective, what would your life look like?
And it's funny because I'm thinking of the Enneagram, I'm a 9. I'm like, I'm all about peace and chill and just good vibes. And so when I was in debt collections, I forced on the very competitive and very, very follow the rules and very, very and I'm like, okay, yeah. I have like integrity is one of my top 5 values.
Mhm.
However, like the competitive stuff is for the birds. Give me a break. Unless it's like with myself, like can I do something I did before? So I think when I'm thinking that thought, it's like it feels very disconnected from who I am now
Yeah.
because of like all the, like the coaching and the self-growth and all the things I've been digging into and just, getting into the word and stuff.
Yes. And so it's like your brain, your subconscious truly didn't realize that this thought was making you feel disconnected. Because even your subconscious doesn't want to feel disconnected. Your subconscious doesn't want to feel forced. So
Yeah.
this is where we want to take debt collecting Tammy and we'd be like, hey, debt collecting Tammy, I really appreciate you trying to keep me safe, but this actually isn't going to help our business work. Are you cool with like calming down that urgency and like, let's just have fun and let's like do the things that actually worked? How would you, so that's the way I would say it to my inner self. How would you say that to your inner self? Very meta.
Um,
And I spilled cherry Coke all over me. I'm like, it's not actually cherry Coke. It's like cherry Coke sparkling water. But I'm like, if you guys are seeing me like frantically like wipe my shirt, I'm like, so sorry.
um, I think yeah, I mean, it'd be, yeah, like, thank you, that served me for the season. It was helpful back then. And I no longer need to operate from that place of bump and grind because God gave me a promise that when I build my business, it would not be a bump and grind.
Mm-hmm. It's like, that's not my mission. That's not my purpose. I know it now, you know?
Yeah, it's operating in peace because I know that he's told me to bring peace to people's money. He's told me to bring peace to people's money plans and things like that. and the
Yes.
mindset and stuff. So it's like, and then I'm even finding, like, I've been mulling this over since you and I did our consult, our
Uh-huh.
intro thingamajiggy, about the, like the one-on-ones for 150 versus stepping into a longer thing, longer container. And I'm going, oh, you know what? Like I could so see doing something like that instead. So it causing me to go, oh, well, like what the heck should I be marketing now then? Oh my gosh, like I don't know.
Well, that's what we're gonna figure out. I was like, whenever we have your one-on-one, that is what we'll figure out. However, in the meantime, between here and there, I want
Mhm.
you to think about how you would be showing up without the thought, I need to work hard or else it won't work. And I wrote down someone who actually it's like someone bringing peace to your people and marketing from like a fun place is who
Marketing
I'm
from
guessing.
fun and rest. Yeah, marketing from fun and rest. It wouldn't be this, because it's like that sowing and reaping applies to the energy that you put out to putting something together, and that subconscious unspoken dialogue of what people hear from you or read from you. So it's like I want to be able to show it from this place of peace and rest and peaceful confidence,
Mm-hmm.
uh, that others can grab onto and take into their, their money or their mindsets or their, whatever.
Which is just like so beautiful. And so when we think about this goal, and do you even like it's like when we're thinking about creating 5-figure months and things like that, I think it happened and your brain thought that you needed to make that a goal. For
Well, it's
like,
actually been a goal. Like I want to and it's built on how much I want to give away each month. And so it's like I reverse engineered it. So
so
it's
it's
like I
like,
want,
go ahead.
so like I want to be able to give away at a minimum of like 10,000 a year, if not more.
And so what is your goal for the month of December?
Wow. I want 10,000.
Okay. It's like now we if we know that's who we're becoming, for
Yeah.
instance, I know that in order to hit 7 figures in my business, I would need 32 people every round of this mastermind in 4 quarters of the year, and I would need 15 people at my 12K price for one-on-one. I know that's who I'm becoming, and I know that's what I'm setting my sights on. However, every month until then, when instead of feeling pressure, because this was the relationship I used to have with my goals,
Yeah.
I'm like, what would it take for me to sign 32 people? 35 people was my goal for this round. And that's because it's a max I could actually have with just me. I was like, what? That is like so awesome. And I think about it from this place of like, I feel like that would just be like incredible. And if I want to problem solve for 32 people every launch, might as well start this launch. I was like, might as well do everything I think that it'll take to bring 35 people in. And 6 people came in. I'm like, perfect. So I figured out 6 of the 35. Now I just need to get to work bringing in the rest of the humans. So we can think about your goal for 10K for December for a place of like, okay, like I would like to hit 10K months in 5-figure months is like now my goal. It's like, but from a place of instead of feeling pressure, like I can't do that again, I have to top it, for a place of possibility, like I want to be that kind of person. Like if we're thinking about 10K, we haven't figured out your offer just yet, but like you could break it up. It's like, what would it look like to be the kind of person who makes 10K every month? And you can start at like making 10K months. You can start at the A line, but I like to start at the T line, the thought line. So it's like,
Mhm.
what would you need to think about 10K months instead of I can't top that. I can't do that again. I have to top that. There's no way I can do this. What do you want to think that brings you that peaceful confidence?
Like I've already got evidence that I can do it.
Uh-huh. And like a thought that could I offer to you is like, if I could do this once, I just have to figure out a way to do it. It's like now my work is just to figure it out consistently.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, even inconsistently at first, like if I can, because I mean, if I'm hitting it every other month, okay, you know what I mean? Then it's like tweaking and fine tuning. I'll eventually get to where I hit it every month. And then it'll eventually get to a place where, oh, I know what I did to get there, which means I could know
Yes.
how to bump it up so that I can give away more each month.
Yes. And it's like, if I can do it once, I will figure out a way to do it where I hit it every single month.
Yeah.
What emotion comes up for you? Is it peaceful confidence or is it something else?
When I think that thought, I do it once. I think it's almost like a hopeful joy.
Yeah. And so what would you do from this place instead? And also I was like, Sharon, I don't know if you need to roll. I can stay longer, but if you need to roll, like, you just let me know. Actually, I was like, Anise, is our call at 3:30? I think it is. It's at 3:30. So I just want to make sure. But within this now, it's like I want you to think about, like, from that place of hopeful joy, instead
Mhm.
of feeling pressured connecting people, instead of avoiding putting out reels, doom scrolling, posting inconsistently, what would you want to do from that place to make these 10K months?
They would just literally be building connections, building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like instead of reaching out to people with an intention of a call to action, it's just reaching out to people to focus on them and building relationship and truly seeing what they need,
Mm-hmm.
what they're looking for. And then
What if,
making connections when, if I don't have what they have, I have a huge amount of network, and I know of other coaches who could fill whatever it is they need, or, other services and products.
and what would you do about posting? Reel, carousel?
Yeah, I mean, it'd be well, I don't know what carousel. Probably reels and stories. I really like doing story cells.
Mhm. And I want you to think about from that place. It's like, I want you to think about, like, for you here, this is the kind of energy, that hopeful joy that we just want to keep bringing out. And we want to keep, and I'm going to give you my strategy next week, but I don't want anyone to feel like they can't go forward if I haven't taught you something. So for everybody, I want you to know, like, I want you to take time and I want you to, like, get in that CEO mindset, which I think for you, your CEO mindset is in this hopeful joy, giving it your best, like, it's like giving it your best. And then I'm going to come in with, like, other ideas for you. It's pretty cool.
So
This is such a great example of the 5 questions too. I hope that made sense for everybody. How are you feeling? Are you feeling complete with this?
I think for me, it's just going to be a matter of memorizing what the little letters stand for, because it's a little
Oh,
different than what
the acronym.
yeah, yeah, I'll get it.
I was thinking about, like, should I literally just, like, put I was like, should I just copy and paste this? But I was like, I wasn't sure if we were gonna do the questions or anything today, but that was a perfect one. I always do the questions. Sometimes I just do the unintentional. Totally depends. Sometimes I just do the intentional, but I'm that was a perfect example. And thank you for going first. And I'm so glad you feel complete. Sharon, how are you feeling today? Here, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Would you like some coaching still? Do you have a moment?
Sorry, I clicked the button. I thought I did unmute, but I
No
checked it
worries.
again now. Okay, thanks. I'm doing great.
Give me a win, and then whatever you need coaching on, bring it.
Okay, so my win was I went to a Rotary event yesterday, and I was a little bit hesitant going because I was like, I was like, how am I going to present my offer? So I ran into a lady that I'd known, like I didn't recognize her. I mean, I recognized her, but I was like, where do I know her from? So I just mentioned to her that I was a career and life coach, and I mentioned a little bit of what I did, and she goes, oh, she said, you got put in my life. This is exactly what I need at this very moment. So then we ended up talking, and we're going to get together. And so I'm going to give her a consult.
Oh my God.
So that was my win.
Like, this is so thrilling. Is this your first, like, is this, like, I mean, like this person is like,
Yes.
oh my gosh, I'm so
Yeah.
excited for you. So proud.
So
Okay.
I was because we went through my pillars and we kind of set up my program. And so I'm still in the middle of refining it. However, that's why I was a little bit hesitant because I was like, okay, what am I going to say? And you can think of all the reasons why not to go. And I was just like, I'm just going. It'll be good. It'll be fun. And then, yeah, I just happened to run into her and great. So,
So
and we
freaking proud of
actually
you.
knew each other. She's a speaker and I was in Toastmasters. So we knew each other from that.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
I was like, how are you feeling? When is this consult?
Okay, so I'll get it scheduled. We're gonna get in touch and schedule it. So my question is, I have my, basically my pillars,
Mhm.
and we're refining my trying to think of what the name of it is. It's the process.
Mhm.
But from my understanding, if I go on the consult, instead of like the life wheel,
Mhm.
I'll go through the pillars with her, if I understood correctly.
Mhm.
So my question is, I'm trying to figure out kind of how I follow the concept, the 5-step selling process within those 4 pillars that I have. Kind of how does that look a little bit different? So, the intake, the bridging the gap, the impact, and I'm a little bit uncomfortable
Mhm.
with where that is. And maybe that's just, I just need to, maybe it's probably might be simpler than what I'm making it to be.
I think it is. And first off, if I'm teaching you something new that you feel uncomfortable using, feel
Mhm.
free to stick to what you know. However, I don't think this is going to be that much of a gap for you, for anybody. So for everybody, we're going to talk through consults in 3 weeks, but I'm just going to give you a crash course in it now. So
Yes.
if you guys want to look back at it, literally it's going to be very, very similar to the 5 steps that you know. So the
Mhm.
first piece would be the intake form and be like, okay, tell me an overview of what you have and tell me what your goals are. Then what you're going to do from there is you are going to, sorry, I'm
What do
like,
you mean? An overview of what you have and your goals are when I'm
yes,
asking.
great
for client.
question.
Okay.
So you're going to go through, wait, where are your goals? I was like, I've got them. Sorry.
You mean
I
my
was,
pillars or?
yeah, your pillars. I'm trying to find them.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. So let me click back to there. So it's for pillar number 1 is stress.
Okay,
So how they're
perfect. Yeah,
feeling
if you could
stress
read me.
wise.
Okay.
And then time management is my next pillar.
Yep.
And then work-life balance and long-term plan.
Uh-huh. Long-term plan. So one of the things when you're doing the consult with her, what you're gonna do is you're gonna be like, "Hi, welcome." And how long is your program again?
6 months.
6 months. Okay. And again, it's not a program, it's like just your offer, but it's like, okay, so you're gonna be like, "Thank you so much for getting on a call. I want to get an overview of kind of like where you're at with your career. What are your goals for the whole 6 months? And then we're going to go through each of these pillars. We're going to go through stress, time management, work life balance, and your long term plan. And so this is just kind of like you giving them an overview of the call. And then I'm going to tell you what it would look like if you decide to join the career fulfillment roadmap.
Okay.
And so then she'll be like, okay, well, here's my overview. Here's where I work. Here's what I do. You'll be like, great. Where you want to be 6 months from now? And she'll be like, I want to be in a different job. And you'll be like, totally get that. Now, specifically within this program, I'm just going to go through each of these categories. And this takes about 45 minutes to get through this stuff. So you're going to be like, okay, where are you now with stress? 1, I'm feeling super stressed. 6 months from now, I want to be feeling not stressed. And then you'll be like, okay, great. For stress, I have and you could even put these words in. You could take your pillars and you could
Mhm.
be like, I teach you the powerful positioning strategy, whatever it is.
Right.
Like, and you could even have these listed before she even comes on.
Okay.
And then so you'll go through each of the you'll go through category, process, category, process, category, process, category, process, kind of like showing her what it would look like to work with you, painting the vision for each step. Then
Okay.
after you finish long-term plan, go ahead. What's your
Just
question?
real quick to clarify, do I have her rank, if I understood correctly, I would have her rank each one of those categories first. And then I would go through each one of those categories and then go to the step of each, the plan. Am I understanding this correctly?
For sure.
Okay.
You would say this and why, what it would look like, this and this, what it would look like, this, where are they now, where they want to be, this, where they now, where they want to be. And it's actually, sorry, so category, where are they now, where they want to be,
Uh-huh.
paint the vision.
Okay. So basically when you say that, so like what I have to offer you for, I mean, what my 6 Pillars program includes to help you focus on decrease, or how do I say, as far as decreasing her stress or managing her stress, then this is what I offer. Okay. Yep. I got that now. Okay. I just wanted to make sure I knew, like,
Yeah.
I
was
thought
like,
it made sense to go through everything and have her rank everything and then go, okay, now closing the gap. This is what I can do to help you with that.
exactly. So what
Okay.
you would do, and again, I'm giving you like, this is consult on steroids. I was like, this is like the fastest consult
Right. No,
you'll
I
ever
appreciate
see.
that. Thank you.
But of course, I was like, that's what I was saying. I was like, if it's something that like we need to hit beforehand, you just let me know. And I'm totally fine with that for everybody. If I just need to give you a quick crash course, I totally can. So if you're like, okay, here's the general plan, then when you paint the vision for her, you say, okay, so I actually do, based on these things, I think you would be a good fit for the career fulfillment roadmap. Let me talk for you. I customize this program for everybody. So let me tell you what it would look like for you. First, we would hit on stress because this is the manageable workload. This is your number one thing. So this is really important for you. So I'm going to talk about, so we would go through this first, especially with the holidays. Again, you want to sell her on this because of the holidays. You want to be like, hey, this is like, think about the time of year for her. That's what I did for each of you. I was like, how can being in this before April change the course of your business? And I'm like, I want you guys to hit the year strong. I want you to start this year strong. This is the last time it's going to be open, XYZ. So then the next lowest category is what you want to prioritize next for her. So say, because you said work-life balance was a 2, I'm going to talk with you about this next. I'm going to talk with you about the principles of prioritization. Again, remember we talked about that would be setting boundaries, making sure you've got set work hours. That's going to be really important, especially in Q1, because you're going to be asked to do more and we're going to have to figure out what is a work day that works for you. Then we're going to get into time management, and then we're going to talk about the purposeful direction. So for you, if we started working together today, what I would love to do is take you through the rest of December, meeting once a week. We're going to be coaching on how to create this manageable workload for you. And that will be like the first of like the 6-month time period. And then we're going to prioritize everything starting in the new year. So we're going to get you through December, and then we're going to prioritize everything in the new year. Then I'm going to help you to schedule things really intentionally. And then we're going to talk, once you feel like you've got the workload under control, then I want to talk to you about, okay, where do I want to go like 6 years from now? If you're not in that place now, we need to talk about the long-term plan. So when you leave the career fulfillment roadmap, you have a manageable workload, you know how to prioritize, you are extremely productive, and you are on the direction to your purpose. How does that sound for you? And they'll be like, yes. And be like, I would love to get started with you as soon as this week. Here's my availability, along with, and so I would love to get started with you this week. And if they don't bring up price, then you can be like, also, the investment is X. It's like, how do you want to move forward with that? Asking a question. And again, you're going to get the replay of this, and we're going to talk about it in 2 weeks. So don't stress if you're not taken all this in right away. It's all good. And then you're gonna be like, it's like, I really would love to work with you. And they're gonna be one of four outcomes, either not now, which is totally fine, but we're gonna have a follow-up call where you're going to ask her what are her reasons why or why not. This is for the follow-up call for later. And then um what there'll be a yes and they'll pay, or it'll be and then if they, so those are one of the three options. So it'll be not now, follow up, yes, and pay. And then if they pay, then you can onboard them, but don't make them that'll be like the next piece of it. I know I just threw like like literally we're going to spend like an entire hour in 2 weeks talking about everything I just did in 14 minutes. But I want to hear is like, because you might be talking with her before our call next week.
Yes.
Does the general overview of what I just explained like make sense-ish?
Yes, I got that. I did have two follow-up questions.
You could
One
have,
is,
yes.
when we discuss, I know what she's not happy where she's at. I know she's capable of more. She's a pretty incredible person. From what I gather, I think she wants to start her own business, become an entrepreneur. So I think the long-term plan is going to be up there for her.
Okay.
But we'll see where her rankings are, because it might be different when they're focusing on one thing. So is that, I would say, depending on where her rankings are, we could still focus on that earlier in our calling sessions. However, I think it's still then, in order to driving her back to the long-term plan, that will help her know, like, if you're going to create this other business, you're going to have to manage your time here and how to do that. Kind of okay?
Yes,
Okay.
you got it. Because
Okay.
if she were to rank this as number one,
Yes.
then you would be like, not only like, but just the way exactly, I want you to watch this back. The way that you just sold me on that is the way that you
Okay.
talk with her. Be like, I know you want to get your purposeful direction. And that is the first thing. We're going to focus on that first to make sure that you know exactly where you're going. However, in order for you to transition to the job, if you want to start your own business, what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to create a lot less time. Having a business does sometimes bring up stress. I want you to make sure that you always have a manageable workload, regardless of whether you're employed by someone else or self-employed. And I want to make sure you're managing your time. And you could even, for her, by the way, everything that I teach, like I've had business coaches in here before, take what I teach and teach it to somebody else. I will never meet this person in my life, most likely. And if more people have these tools, I think the better the world is. So literally, like if you want to teach her the exact things I'm teaching you, be like, I'm also in a business mastermind. I could help you through some of this stuff. If you want to use that as a selling point as well, feel free to. And I like literally like any emails I send, like everything. I'm like, I want to give you guys like the easiest, best business possible. And so literally like anything I give you, you can help her with as well.
Okay. And then one thing that she did mention, the first thing she asked me, she goes, "Are you expensive?" And so I kind of sidestepped it, and I wanted to get into the consult before we start talking about price, and so she knew what I did. I do know that that might come up. However, I was going to kind of look more at refresh my memory of how to handle that. And so, as far as one thing that came into mind with me is, what do you consider expensive? Anyways, I was just going to ask what's your thoughts on how to handle that?
So how to handle like the expensive objection?
Yeah, because
I'm
well, that was
like,
one of the first questions out of her mouth. So I just imagine, which is good for me. I imagine that
Yeah.
might come up towards the end. So I want to think about that.
Yep.
How I want to handle that. So I know I'll go back through handling,
Objections.
objections,
Perfect.
but I don't really look at that as objection. I just look at that as being curious.
Yeah. And so I would be like, if we think about the course of her life and business, one of the
Mhm.
things that I do is there is somebody who contacted me and they were like, I have $2,000 to get me to April. I have 4 children and I really want to do your program, but I like I've maxed out all my credit cards. There's nothing I can do. And I am like, that's totally fine. I'm like, if this is not the program for you, like, do you remember when I said, this is on the Q&A call that you came to? I
Mhm.
was like, if this is the
If
stars
it's
will
gonna
align
be
and
like
we're gonna
detrimental to you, you shouldn't, yeah,
totally fine.
move
But she
forward.
came on the call to buy and be
Mhm.
like, I want you to think about like $4,000 in the course of your life, the cost of not doing something like this now.
Mhm.
It's like, depending on how much she's making and things like that, and you don't even need to ask. But for
Right.
me, I'm like, I think about all of you guys, and I'm like, you will absolutely, over the course of your business for your whole life, you're absolutely going to make your 5K back. Most of you are going to make it back in the program. But even if you don't, and I've had a couple people who don't necessarily make it back in the 6 months, they all sign clients. They all know how to scale a business, and they are better set up than some people I know who have multiple 6-figure businesses without any of the stress that comes later. That is worth it, in my opinion. So I want you to be sold that, like, for her, that this is like coming from like such service. Like, oh my God, like if she decides to her business, what if she's definitely got to make more than 4K? How much is
Right.
she costing with the time that she's spending doing something that she hates for the next 6 months?
Right. And she's been at her current job for 14 years. So that's just it. It's again, do you want to continue doing that and or get set up this way? And then your income potential is a lot better than where she's currently at too.
It's
So
completely unlimited.
yes.
Plus, it gives her time freedom. It like, so it's like when you like sell what I do, and we'll talk about this in a couple of weeks, but
Mhm.
like I like to sell myself beforehand and really like talk to, like, think about what are all the ways that this is an amazing program for them. Like, I'm like, how could this serve them? And just paint, like, build up this beautiful image. We're also going to be talking with that. Tammy, you mentioned like talking to people. So, like, any new followers and things like that, I'm like, if like someone follows me or things like that, I'll look and I'll be like, this MTF Scotty. I don't know who they are. But I'm like, oh my gosh, they're an entrepreneur. I'm like, this is awesome. And this doesn't make any sense. I'm like, I know this gentleman's business. I feel like it could be so great, and it looks very confusing. I'm like, I think I could help. I don't know what this is, but I'm like, I know I can help him create an offer that's more compelling than this. I
Right.
know I can help him probably get more followers. I know that this is not very clear. I think these are puppies, which are super cute. But I'm like, what does this have to do if you want to run a business? I'm like, what? So I will literally, like, anytime that I am looking at someone even online, I'm like, what would it be like for them to work with me for 6 months? What would their just in like, so I want you to think about, like, what would it look like for her to work with you for 6 whole months? That'll take her through June of 2024. How different would her life be? And then you just come in with that energy and like, this is an option. I don't even know if you realize was an option. I want to give you the opportunity to opt in. If you want this, amazing. If you don't want this, I just want you to be clear that this is not what you're looking for right now. And I'm always going to be here for a resource,
Mhm.
but it doesn't make you better or worse if you opt in. It's just like, I really think this would be awesome for you. And when you can come from that like full service energy, even if they say no, just be like, I just want to clarify everything before you say no. And then you go for it. But like, that is the kind of energy that's pure service, pure, just like for them. Like, I'm so excited for you. And it's almost, I don't know if you've seen The Matrix, but I'm kind of a nerd. But it's like the red pill or the blue pill. It's like you get to like opt. It's like, would you like to take the pill that changes your life? Or it's like you also don't have to. It's like,
Right.
and it doesn't make you a better person if you do coaching it or not, because there are millions of other people that can use the career fulfillment roadmap. But I think, does that shift the way that you kind of like are ready to
Yeah.
show up to the call?
Yeah, it's good. And you articulated it better than I am. That's what I was trying to do is how can I paint the picture basically for her of what it would look like for her in 6 months.
Yes.
So,
And you
and
can be
how
like,
life changing that will be.
yep.
Yes.
And already have that in mind. Already, it'd be like, we have known each other for a really long time. We've known each other since Toastmasters. It's like I would be so honored to help you through the next 6 months. And I really want to articulate what your life could look like. And if you're in, great. If not, we will always be friends. Like that's the way I like to phrase it. And so it's like no pressure for someone to be like, yes. And I've had people who are like, this isn't a good fit for me. Maybe later. And I'm like, cool. I'm like,
Mhm.
I got a Facebook group for you. I've got to get you on my email list. I was like, I am cheering you on every step of the way. I had someone in this past round that was like, I just don't like you or your energy. And I was like, oh, there we go. It's like, well, then this probably is not a good fit, but I know there are amazing business coaches out there
That
for
just
you.
wasn't one of your people. That's all.
Just one of my people. It's like,
Yeah.
like, so don't take, if she says, it's like, no matter what her response is,
Mhm.
it doesn't mean anything about you at all or the future of the business. And I think this is a pretty freaking compelling program that's going to change her freaking life. If she wants to start a business and she wants to get out of this job she's been in 14 years, it's absolutely going to come.
I
And
agree.
the emotional stress, yes, Tammy just posted in the chat, like, what's the cost of the emotional stress as well? It's like if she stays stressed for the next 6 months, if she doesn't figure out her direction and with her long-term plan, what is the cost of that? She's never going to get this time back. The beginning of 2024, this is the only beginning of 20, and like you can sell it like that and also be like, because I don't always love to go like the pain points and things like that. I'm like, I just want you to envision how different your life could be. Like you, by 6 months, we could have a clear plan for you to start this business, that you are leaving your job. You've created this beautiful offboarding process for your company, and you know exactly what to do to make this business work. That's what I want for you by June. And I think it'd be awesome. And like just really painting the frick out of that vision.
Okay. By the way, I like your consistency of your format on your Instagram and the way you said you've changed that. It's very good because consistency, people then recognize you immediately before they even see certain things. So that's good. It's kind of like when you get the Target ad or you get certain ads, you automatically know what it is because of the look and how it feels. So
The
no,
brand.
yes, the branding is very good.
Mhm. And so
That's
like
that.
I'll show you when I was running my social. This is like and she literally started working for me in September. This is what it used to look like. It was still like cohesive, but like look at all the words and like the face and like I took so much time to write all these things. And
Mhm.
now it's like so much even simpler and even clearer. It's like even better. Like you feel free to like go back in time with my business. It's like it's an adventure, y'all. Like look at okay, literally like this was in August.
Mhm.
This is in August, September, November. I forgot October. 4 months later. Like I'm a different human. It's so fun. And you will be too. I'm like, it's just fun. It's fun to see all of
That's
the things.
exciting. Yeah, that's fantastic.
It's amazing. Oh,
Good.
I just love you guys. How are you feeling? Day one, six-figure systems. Let's go. Well, I love you guys. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to add is we are going to start a group Instagram messaging thing. Now, I know you're not on Instagram, so you do not need to be. However, um, for your marketing on social, we're going to be starting that. And also, I want you guys to like, if you want to meet up outside of this group, if you're like, okay, let's content batch together. If you want to talk through a consult or things like that, I want you guys to have the phone number, email of everyone in the group, all the things. I want you to have that. So I'm going to include a form today and I'll mention it at the beginning of next week as well, so that you guys can have everyone's information and start to make friends and build relationships outside of this container so you guys can like partner up and get shit done.
I do need, I mean, there's, you know me, I'm good in person. It's the social stuff I got to work on.
Oh
So
yeah. And so then instead of doing it by yourself when you feel like you're like your brain is braining and you're like, help,
Yeah.
then you can literally just like be like, oh my God. Like I'll do this with my friends. Like one of my good friends, we're hanging out tomorrow, and like I'll just be like, my brain is braining, help. Like, but like I want you to have this, not just for this mastermind, but like friends for life. This is just day one, guys. We have 25 more sessions like this, which is awesome.
That's great. And your decorations in the background are very nice. Very
You like
festive.
it? I
Yes.
was like, one of the people, it's like, that's actually a chest, but she was like, I can't not see it smiling from, and I
Yeah.
was like, literally, I was like, well, there it is. It's there for everybody. But thank you. I was like, it
You're
just feels
welcome.
really festive.
It
And
is good. I haven't got mine done yet, so we'll
look
get
at there. I was like, we did this in an hour and a half. I was like, how can we speed decorate our house in like instant? So it was like a challenge. Because again, type 3, y'all. But I love you guys. And I will see you next Tuesday.
Fabulous. Thank you.
Thank you.